Hi, it's Betsy Nicoletti. Thanks for joining me today, where I'm going to ask and answer this question. And I'm going to back up my answer with citations from the CPT book. This is a question that we got at a webinar, a Coding Intel webinar. And it's also a question that's in my course, which I'll talk about at the end. So what level of risk is assigned when a practitioner refers a patient to a physician in another specialty? Does the complexity of the problem make a difference? And the specific question that this participant had was, what if we have a patient who has a melanoma and we're referring that patient? And here's my answer. Referral to a specialist is minimal or low risk. The risk of the problem is distinct from the risk of management. So let's just do a 30-second review. If we're using medical decision-making to select the code, we have 4 levels of medical decision-making. We have 3 elements, and we need 2 of those 3 elements to select the level of service. The first element relates to the condition itself and any risk to that condition itself. The second element relates to the amount and/or complexity of data ordered, reviewed, or analyzed. And the third relates to the morbidity or mortality, the risk of morbidity or dying from additional diagnostic testing or treatment. So let's look at CPT, Let's go to the videotape, as we might say, if we were sporting types. The numbering in the CPT book in 2024, in the section describing the number and complexity of problems, they say the term risk, as used in the definition of this element, relates to the risk from the condition. While condition risk and management risk may often correlate, the risk from the condition is distinct from the risk of management. And then they move on to talk about management, the third element. The risk of patient management criteria applies to the patient management decisions made by the reporting physician or other qualified healthcare professional as part of the reported encounter. So the risk that is being made by the clinician at that encounter. So why doesn't the severity of the condition count for the risk element at the time of the referral? Because CPT has told us that the risk of the problem, the risk related to the condition, is separately assessed from the risk of additional diagnostic testing or treatment. And the risk of the melanoma itself is assessed in the first element. We're going to credit the risk of additional diagnostic testing or treatment that occurs at the encounter, not at the future encounter. So the risk that we're assessing for the referral is the risk of calling, making an appointment, and going to see the specialist, not the risk of the condition itself. The risk of treating the melanoma, the risk of morbidity or mortality related to the treatment of the melanoma itself, will be assessed and counted at the visit by the physician who treats that condition. So what level of risk is assigned when a practitioner refers a patient? Referral to a specialist is minimal or low risk. The risk of the problem is distinct from the risk of management. So this is one of the questions that I discuss in my E&M expertise course, Go Beyond the Basics. We've got 4 modules. This isn't a beginner course, it's an advanced course. The first one is category of code. I know a lot of you are going to want to skip that and get straight to the next 3 modules: dissecting the presenting problem, mastering data analysis in an E&M encounter, and the risk, the morbidity or mortality from additional diagnostic testing or treatment. So I've put on here and on the slides, if you download the slides, you can type it in, how you can enroll. Of course, for Coding Intel members, courses are always free. Thanks for joining me today. Here my dog Bo and I are framing the situation, and I hope we framed it in a way that is helpful to you today.